Hi, I'm Lee Ryan.
And I'm Mayah Anderson.
Together, Mayah and I are here to guide you through meaningful conversations, mindful practices, and insights to help you slow down, breathe, and find balance in your life. So whether you're sipping tea, taking a walk, or simply listening, this is your space to pause and connect with yourself. So let's explore today's mindful moment. Today's our first podcast. We're super excited. It's been pretty crazy week with our 2025 snowstorm in Georgia. But yes, it was fun.
It was beautiful. I have to say that.
It was beautiful. It was so quiet.
That's what I loved.
I do too.
It was like silent, which is so weird, right?
The snow does that.
Yes.
It just makes everything go silent.
It does.
And everybody was just like cooking and baking. All over my Facebook page, we were posting soups and breads we were making. I mean, my house looked like an explosion. My granddaughter, we painted, we made jewelry, we baked, we made stews. We built a fort in front of the fire.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, and I left it up for 4 to 5 days.
Family moments. That's what matters, right?
That's what they remember.
Yeah, that's what matters. Yeah.
That's what they remember.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it was so much fun. In and out of the snow, hot chocolate everywhere. Lots of hot chocolate.
Oh, nature knows what you need, right? So the snow comes
that's
in
gonna be our topic
and
today.
It's so quiet.
Yes.
And it just makes everyone revert inside and really get down to what really matters.
Yeah, it really does.
So everyone was reflecting and going back. Right? Oh, I love that.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So,
yes.
So Mayah and I met, was it last spring? Was it?
I think it was last spring. I think it was.
Market Day at Trilith. Mayah is a holistic coach, but she also owns Rooted Vines Tea.
Yes.
Which I love. So I met her there and I bought some tea and I'm walking away and I'm digging through my goodie bag and I find this card in there and it's an affirmation card. And I kind of froze and I started reading it. And on one side of the card, she has like, when you prepare your tea, how to be mindful and set your intent. You flip the card over, and as you're drinking your tea, she has an affirmation for you to like read through and let it sit with you. And that just resonated with me so much that I kind of stopped in my steps and I told my husband, I said, I have to go back. And he was like, what? And I said, I have to go back. I need to talk to her. I need to do something with her. She's like my person and I have to go back because I'm supposed to do something with her. And he was like, oh, okay. Like,
you know how husbands are. Like,
he's like, it's tea. You just bought tea, right? That's what he's thinking. Yeah. What's in the tea?
Yeah. How powerful can this be?
So I went back over to her booth and monopolized her time.
No, it was beautiful. I love when people come back and we have those real conversations where time just stops because you have this connection and like nothing else matters but what's going on between you and that person.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with me and you.
It was great. We had this wonderful conversation. Meanwhile, people are coming in and her husband's like sowing tea left and right. Mayah and I are in the corner in our own little world.
No one else exists.
In our own little world. So I told her, I said, I do sound baths. I said, would you consider coming and doing a tea service after the sound bath? And she said yes. And it was probably the best sound bath I've done.
I tell you, if you have not done a sound bath, you have to go in person and do a sound bath. I have done sound baths on YouTube, but when I came to do the sound bath with Lee, it was amazing. The frequencies, the power you feel when those singing bowls are hit, they really resonate with you, mind, body, and spirit. And at the time I was having an issue with my arm, and as I'm laying there, she hits this note and it like penetrated through my arm, and I could feel it from my shoulder to my fingers, and for my arm to feel better as the night went on and as the day went on. And honestly, I haven't had any issues with this arm since that sound bath.
Really? I
I have
love that.
not. Yeah, truthfully, I have not had any issues. But I thought, wow, frequency. I know frequency and energy exists, and I know it's powerful. But to be able to be a witness
Right.
and
Of
actually
it.
be there to have it touch you is a
Yeah.
whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Whole nother thing.
And see, that's what I want to write my dissertation on,
Oh,
is
wow.
how like frequency and vibration and sound actually heals us at a cellular level.
Yes.
Because the one thing that stimulates cells and atoms in our body is vibration.
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 Everything is vibrating.
It is.
Yes,
So
everything.
that is like, to me, I'm fascinated by that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to dig into in the next.
Oh, that's going to be great.
For the next 3 years. That's my 3-year journey. I don't know how I'll look after 2.5 years, but we're starting.
It's going to be all worth it.
It is.
It's going to be worth it.
It is. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So, so we did the sound bath, and what I loved is after the sound bath, when I've done them before, everybody comes out of it in kind of like a twilight place, right?
Yes.
It's like that place between sleep and wake. And you're still kind of like, ooh, you know?
Yes.
And some people feel like, oh, it's over. We got to get up and get our stuff and go. And I was always like, don't rush. You don't have to rush.
Yeah.
But them having the time to have tea afterwards, they could stay curled up in their blanket.
Yes.
Everybody stayed on the floor in their yoga
They
mats.
did. They just settled in.
They did.
And everybody just started opening up about things that were going on in their life, right?
Yeah.
It was like it was giving them permission. It's okay to stay.
Yeah.
You don't have to just hop back out into the busy world, right? Like you're being shoved back. People are used to that. Like they're feeling good.
Gotta get up and go.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go. Like they feel like that. But in this moment, everyone was just so calm.
Yeah.
And just so open, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were able to be vulnerable, which people are never vulnerable. It's so hard to have them get to that spot, especially amongst strangers, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the conversation was flowing and it was meaningful and intentional.
It was so cozy.
Yes.
It was just, they were still so cozy. So, if you haven't done a sound bath and tea, I highly suggest it. We do them monthly.
Yes.
I think the next one is February 27th.
Yes.
I will check on that and verify that. But they're great.
They are great.
So the goal of our podcast is basically to help you create mindful moments throughout the day that'll help with your anxiety, your depression, maybe grief, maybe burnout, all the things. It's not just about carving out time, because I think a lot of people, we're so set on schedule. Like I'll be mindful at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., right? But it's more of a practice that you put in your life throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
And that's what makes it different.
Right. People talk about marriages and love banks, right?
Right.
You have to put something in, the husband has to put something in, that you get something out. But it's the same with yourself.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself that love and put in to yourself the love bank as you go throughout the day, and give yourself permission throughout the day to do what it is that you need to do and what your body is asking for, your spirit is asking for, your mind is asking for at the time.
Yeah.
And not feel guilty about it.
And not feel guilty.
Yes.
And not think you have to put everybody else first before yourself.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's okay to be selfish and put yourself first a little bit.
Oh, what does the pilot say on the plane?
Oh, yeah.
Please put your oxygen mask first and then put it on the person next to you, right? Same concept through life. Yeah.
Because you can't help anybody else if you're passed out.
Yeah. Your cup must be full and overflowing to give to someone else.
Absolutely.
You cannot pour into someone in an empty cup. What are you going to give them?
Right. Right.
What are they getting? Yeah, there's nothing
left. Nothing left. So this is just a way of approaching things differently. And so we're going to give you different things to do: affirmations, art, movement, meditations, different topics. If you have a topic you want us to talk about, send it to us. We'll talk about anything. Definitely. We can talk. Yes. This is why we're doing a podcast, because we have really good conversations and you should hear them because they're really good.
Oh, Oh gosh. Okay. This is the laughter. Join.
This is the laughter.
This is the laughter. Join in.
Laughter is wonderful. We're going to start with our topic of the day, which is why you should never start and create resolutions in January. It is not a good idea. Stop doing it. Just stop.
Yes, please, please.
So, Mayah, you want to
Yes.
start us off on how we should be resting in January?
Absolutely. I'm not really sure where resolutions started, but I know when we go into fall, into actually the end of November to October, it's the letting go season, right? We have to start letting go and reflecting. So, what we do, or what we should be doing, is look at the past year, that what have we been doing, what have we accomplished, what are our challenges, and what are we trying to overcome, and kind of keep a running total. It's not like it's a race, but you really have to figure out where you are in that space at the time. And then when December and January rolls around, it's still a season of letting go. We see the trees letting go. Things are still dying. You cannot plant a seed in a dying season and expect it to sprout and give anything, worth anything, right?
Everything's dormant.
Everything's dormant. And that tells you, following nature, you should be dormant. Is it a time to reflect, to be quiet, to go within, and deal with those things that are going on within you, instead of trying to mine gold and trying to push and make things happen? And I think that's why a lot of people fail at their resolutions. Number one, they're not going back to find out what's going on, why they can't make it. People want to lose weight.
Right.
Well, find out what was going on the year before. Are you having issues with the food? Are you eating because you're depressed? You have to deal with those issues before you can go forth and just jump into something new.
Absolutely.
And then people don't plan. January is another month of planning. Put the steps in place. Put a map together. How are you going to get there? And then you can start doing it. But people make these resolutions. I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to stop doing this. They have no plan. They just think, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to be a new person.
Right. Oh, God.
Without putting the work in.
New me thing.
Yes.
Why do you need a new me? You don't need a new me.
No,
you do not.
You do not.
You may need some little alterations, but we're not throwing out the old model and recreating. We don't need to do that.
Absolutely not. You're right.
We just need a little alteration. We need a little change. That's all.
Just a little change.
See, for me, this is what I see. I see, come October, we're definitely going into that exhale, right? That exhale time. And it's like warm and cozy, and we can curl up and withdraw a little bit, right? And for the introverts, that's wonderful. But then November rolls around, and you got Thanksgiving. Anxiety goes up. Cortisol level goes up. Family gatherings go up. People start getting sick. The gatherings begin. And then you got December, and then there's the comparison and the worry and the gifts and going to 3 or 4 meals and traveling. Oh my gosh, the cortisol level, up, stress, up, anxiety, up. Here we go. We're going up. Yeah. And then you got New Year's Eve, and it's a big like dopamine rush, and it's like, woo, it's all new.
It's all
great.
new. The fireworks, everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I get to start over with a clean slate.
And then you're way up here still, wound up with your cortisol level way too high, and your stress way too high, and your anxiety, and you haven't even dealt with everything in the holidays that have happened. And now you're going to sit down and make a list of all the changes you need to make. No.
Make it make sense, people. No. Make it make sense.
Not a good idea.
No.
What you need to do in January is like regroup and just rest.
Yes.
For me, like January is a time for rest. I watch everybody around me doing so many things in January. Like it's almost like all the all the entrepreneurs and business owners are like, I'm going to do this in January, I'm going to do this in January, I'm going to do this. They haven't even come off their holidays, man.
No.
So I don't do sound baths in January.
Okay.
I see my clients. I did 2 workshops, and I did not do retreats. I did 2 2-hour workshops.
Nice.
But I eased into the new year.
Absolutely.
And I came in just slow and easy because I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of felt I kind of extend my time off after the holidays
Yes.
because you need
You
time
need
to
that
rest.
time. You've put your mind through so
And your
much
body,
and your body,
my
and you're just
gosh.
busy, busy, busy. Go, go,
Yes.
go.
Eating all the stuff we shouldn't eat, doing all the stuff we shouldn't, and
Absolute.
going
Doing.
like crazy. And then with everything else, the emotions and the family
Mm,
and the interactions. And on top of that, it was an election year. That was even higher,
yes,
right?
people were really feeling a certain way
Yes,
on top of the other emotions,
right.
and people didn't know how to deal with
No.
that at all.
And then you got the family gatherings where nobody
Oh,
agrees and
yes.
everybody's sensitive. And oh my gosh,
It was a mess, right?
it was a lot. It was a
That
lot.
that was, yeah, it was a lot to throw at people.
It was.
Yeah.
So we suggest next year you can do it. And okay, first of all, let's start here. We're giving you permission to
Yes.
burn the resolution list.
Yeah, let
Burn
that
it. Let
go.
it go.
We're not doing that no
Let
more.
it go.
Yeah.
And just take a step back and have some peaceful, quiet moments
Yes.
and pick one thing. One,
Oh, I
not
love
five,
that.
not
That's right.
10, not
One
20.
thing.
One thing. If you
Yes.
need to drink more water during the day, that's your one
That's your
thing.
one thing.
That's your one thing. You need to go on walks every day, that's your one thing. But the one thing I don't think you should do is I don't think you should be like, I'm going to drink a gallon of water every day. I'm going to walk 20 minutes every day. I'm going to the gym 3 days. I'm doing Pilates too. And then I'm going to like do my manifestation list. And then I'm going to like create my career list. And then I'm going to do it.
Oh, it's fractured thinking,
It
right?
is.
So you're just tearing yourself apart,
You
putting you in
are.
all, and there's no way
No,
to do that
no,
in like a short amount of time.
no.
It takes
It
time,
does.
you
It
know?
takes 21 days to create a habit.
Create a habit. Yeah.
So you can't create 10 habits in 21
In
days.
21
That's too
days, I don't
much.
even know how you
Let
would
me
do
no,
that.
your brain will be like, no, to overload.
Over,
Overload.
yes.
We would like one or two, but overload. So
Overload,
like
burnout.
just
And that's how people end
oh
up with
yeah, and
burnout,
burnout.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Too
think
much
they're
too
doing a
soon.
good thing. And it sounds good, right?
It does sound
It
good.
sounds good when you tell someone, oh, I'm going to do this. And it sounds
Right.
good to you too.
It
Like,
does.
but
It's I mean, I'm not
yeah,
saying it's not healthy.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's not healthy to take on so much that you're so overwhelmed that you have scheduled your day from 6:30 in the morning till
Mm,
9 p.m. at night. Where are your moments?
there, you
Like
don't have
where are
time.
your
You're not
moments?
allowing
You're
yourself the
not.
time. Yeah, you're just jumping from one fire
Yeah,
to the next, to
you
the
are.
next.
You are.
And it's just not going to work out in your favor, unfortunately. It's just, and you got to be honest about it.
You
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
You do. And I blame social media and the iPhone.
I do too.
I mean, before, okay, I'm going to age myself, I'm going to date myself now, but before the smartphones, like when, when we came home from the office, the emails did not follow us,
There you go.
right?
Yes.
You couldn't check
Right.
your
You can
email.
check your email. Who's
No,
checking emails?
you check an
Right.
email. Nobody called us, nobody was texting us,
Oh
and
gosh.
the office was not following us.
There you go.
And so now we have been conditioned to, I have to check my email. You do not have to check your email.
You do not.
You do not. We're giving you that permission to stop checking your email after
Yeah.
5 p.m., 6
And I know
p.m.
people are going to be like, if I don't check my email and I come back the next day,
Yeah,
there's
it's going
going
to
to
be
be
right
like
there.
200 emails.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, let's put it this way. There's always going to be something to do.
There you go.
If you don't have anything to do in your job, you won't have a job.
There
So look at it as job security, okay?
There we go.
So
All
there's
right.
always going to be something to do, but it can be done later.
Mm.
You're creating anxiety thinking it's got to be done now.
Absolutely.
And no.
Yeah. I know I get
no.
emails and emails. I wake up in the morning and I pick the ones that are important. And I say, and then I delete the rest. I don't even look at the rest.
Yeah.
I delete the rest and I say, if it's that important, they'll email me. I'll get another email about it. But I can't go through each email to see what it's about. I know what's going on. I know what I'm prioritizing in my life. And those things I'm going to give my attention to. And then the rest, unfortunately, will have to just go because I just don't have that much time or that much energy to
Yeah.
dedicate to these things that are flooding in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
That's a good
totally
point.
agree.
That is a
Yeah,
good
you have
point.
to be intentional about it and turn off your phones at a certain
Turn
time
off
at
your
night.
phones.
Don't put it in your bedroom,
Nope.
put it in another room, put it all the way on silent. We don't even need vibrations,
Nope.
okay? And so your body can relax. Because I remember when I was younger, have you ever had this experience where you had it on vibrate, but like you didn't even have your phone, but you'd feel like your
You
phone was
feel,
vibrating in
yes,
your
because it did it
pocket
so much.
or in your purse,
Yeah.
but you didn't even have your phone? And I'm like,
Conditioning.
my body is conditioned. And I
It's
did not like
conditioning.
that. I
No.
didn't. I was like, okay, we need to do something about this. Put a plan together on how you're going to use your phone, when you're going to use your phone, because that was too much. I got
Yeah.
scared
Yeah.
on that.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, your central nervous system used to it.
Yeah.
It's used to it. It's like
Yeah.
every 5 minutes it buzzes. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to keep doing it because that's conditioning.
Yes, that dopamine hits the phone
Dopamine
because you feel
hits.
it,
Yeah,
right?
you
It's
do.
like, yeah, you're like, oh,
You
the
do.
phone, and I'm like, oh, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
I don't like
And the
that.
scrolling at night, that's not
Oh,
good before you go to bed. The blue
no,
light is so bad for you.
it
It
is.
is so bad for you. And if you're going to do it, put the red light feature on. You can put a red
Hmm.
light feature on,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that'll help.
yeah.
But if you've got to do it, but you really, you're getting dopamine, and dopamine's it's addicting.
It is. It's a drug.
It's a drug.
It's a
It's
drug.
just like
Did you
doing
see how
cocaine.
when TikTok went down, people literally just
No,
they lost they
really.
didn't know what to do with themselves.
Oh,
And yeah, I mean, there was tears.
oh my goodness.
There was fear mongering, and
Oh
I'm
my
like, it
gosh.
was wild. And I thought, this is so crazy. And I
And it
don't
was down
know,
like 24 hours or something like that,
something like that,
right?
something like that. But
Yeah,
I thought, this is insane. People were really losing it
yeah,
over not being it. And what I heard was, when you scroll, you were talking about scrolling.
yeah,
For TikTok, they call it the death scroll, which
yes,
that was my first time ever hearing that phrase. I was like, death scroll,
yeah.
where you just get lost in scrolling and hours of your
Go
time
by,
go by.
and it's done.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
thought, what?
That's why it's also shown now that we don't have the readers we used to. Like people cannot, they have gotten so used to the short and sweet little
Yes.
divots of Facebook and TikTok
Yes.
and Instagram that they find it very hard to sit still and read a book.
Read a book is very scary.
Yeah,
I know, I don't know. I'm just going to play this 1 million cuts.
yeah.
Karina got up and she's the Wandering Bookstore. And she got up and
Oh,
she did
yeah.
her presentation. And the first thing everyone said in there is, nobody reads anymore.
Mm.
And I was like, and I wasn't
Doesn't
there
that
for
just
her
hurt your
presentation,
heart?
but when she told me that, my heart dropped because I love books and I love to read. And I couldn't
Same.
believe, and these weren't young kids in this networking, these were grown adults
Right.
who were telling this young lady that nobody reads anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh, this cannot be a dying hobby, art,
No.
that just goes by the wayside because
Yeah.
there's so much knowledge and information in books and people pouring out their passions for people to just toss it aside
Side.
and think it's nothing anymore because
I
I can get
know.
these short little blurbs that
Right.
really don't tell you anything in depth or detail, and people
Or
will
use
run
your
with it.
imagination or your creativity or take you to a whole different place.
And you wonder why our kids are on games and not reading, and their
Yeah.
imagination are gone. They can't even think of games to play. They're outside. You see these kids standing outside like, what do I do?
What do I do? Yeah.
What do I do?
We build
Oh,
fairy gardens.
see, and it's beautiful, right? It
Right.
gets the mind
It
going, the
does.
possibilities
It does.
in the world, right? Because you can do most things that we have came from the mind, right?
Yes.
Someone wrote a book or somebody saw something, it gave them an idea. They wrote it on paper, brought it into the realm on paper, and then they were like, no, we can make this a reality.
Yeah.
And the juices get flowing. And
Yeah.
now we got TV, radios, lamps. We got all types of things coming from the imagination
Yep.
of the mind.
It is.
Yeah,
Now, the creativity gives us so much more. It really does.
absolutely.
What frustrates me, it doesn't frustrate me, but what I point out to some of my family and friends is when they say, I just don't have time to read. And the first thing I do is say, can I see your phone? Oh, look, you have 8 hours in the last 3 days of screen time. And 60% of it was like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I think that's a good time you could read.
Yeah.
Put your
Yeah.
phone down.
They don't
Read.
even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
They
realize it.
don't. They
And it's
don't
so
realize
scary.
until I start showing people their screen time. They're like, oh,
Yeah. Then you're like, okay, so now what's the excuse?
right. And what do you
Right?
want to replace that with?
Absolutely.
What do you want to
Because
replace that
people
with?
like, I just want to decompress. That's why I'm on there. The books do the
The
same
books do the
thing.
same thing.
Having
And
troubles.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you, if you're dyslexic, I'm dyslexic. Believe me, I'm ADHD dyslexic. Oh, so, but audiobooks, I love my audiobooks, man.
A lot of people
I
go to
like when I can sit
audiobooks.
still and read, but I do have times where, like, I'm cleaning and doing laundry. I'm working on a
Yes,
project, and
absolutely.
I plug that thing in with an audiobook. I'm in a whole different world.
You're in a whole different
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
It also helps chores go quicker.
Oh, does?
It does.
It does.
It's more entertaining. It's much more
It's so
entertaining.
funny. I'm in a book club, well, kind of like a book club, and everyone was going to audiobooks, and I'm like, I don't know. I like the smell of the paper and
Yes.
turn down the corners, and sometimes I want to highlight some stuff,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm that way with certain books, and but I did find an audiobook on YouTube once, and I played it. It was The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel, and I played it, and it was the first audiobook I ever played, and I got like maybe 10 minutes in and went on Amazon and I purchased the book because it was that powerful.
Oh.
And I went on to finish the audiobook, and it was beautiful. I loved the voice that the young lady was using to read the book, and it was very magical. And I sat there on the couch. I didn't even do anything. I just sat on the couch and I listened to the words. And I was like, this is kind of interesting. I wonder if this is how people feel when they do audiobooks.
It's
But it's the
nurturing.
only audiobook I've ever sat and did with.
Really?
And then I've never gone back and do the only one, which is really weird. And my husband loves audiobooks.
Yeah.
He is like an audiobook person. And I'm like,
I love them.
yeah,
You
but I
know
like
what?
that.
I find them to be very nurturing because as children, our parents read to us.
What a good point. I didn't even
So
think about
it's
that.
like soothing when you get a good narrator and you're like,
That part.
and a good book and you're kind of curled up
Oh,
and it's just so nurturing.
that is a good point, and I've never even thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Because I used to love to have my grandma read to me.
Right?
Or when you went to school and the librarian brought out the book of the week, and
Yeah.
you sat there and they read to you. It
Right.
was very nurturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
So if you need to be nurtured, nurture your inner child.
There you go.
Get an audiobook.
Get an audiobook.
Get an audiobook. And also look at your screen time. If you've got too much screen time, and this doesn't, we went off on a tangent on reading.
Did.
We were starting on resolutions. Now we're telling you all you need to read more books.
Yeah, there you go. I love it.
So, but it is good. It is good. The audiobooks or just reading, that's self-care.
It is. Now that's real self-care.
That is.
Yeah, yeah. It's not about your nails and your hair and going shopping. So that's real self-care, taking care of the inner part of you.
That inner side.
Yes.
Inside. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. So give yourself permission to let go of the big, long resolution list you started. Pick a couple of things and allow yourself to just dive into you. I think that'd be good. Because this is a time of rest. We don't plant seeds till like the end of February. You got some time.
Yes.
You got some time.
Yep. Figure out what it is that you want to do, and please create the steps to do it in. You cannot get to a destination without a map. You have to know where you're going and how you're going to get there. What type of vehicle do you need to get to this destination? Because if you do not, and you're one of those people that are like, well, I'll just let the waves take me where they may. Those waves may send you on some rocky shores.
Yeah.
You may not make it to your destination. The vehicle you choose might not be up for it. Maybe there's some rotten wood in there or something.
Yep.
You have to be intentional about where you're going, how you're going to get there, and why you're going there. And understand that destination, when you reach that, it is not the end. There is another destination you have to go to. This is a journey. The journey never ends.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to have those mindful moments.
Yeah.
Because people think, oh, I'm going to get here. And when I get to this point, everything's going to be fine.
Mm-mm.
Lies. All
no.
lies. You're going to get there and find out this is not the destination. There is more to do.
There's more to do. But also it's life. Life is not perfect. We keep thinking we're going to hit this level and everything's going to be fine, but there's always going to be something else to work through.
That's right.
And that's your lesson. How do you work through it?
Absolutely.
How do you approach it? How do you approach it? How do you work through a challenging situation? And that, when you get to be where you are the calm in the storm and you're centered, then you can move through it more mindfully and more easily than in a panic and stressed and anxious.
Absolutely.
And that's the key.
That is the key. Not to be reactive all the time, but sometimes you just got to let it be and find out why you're in that situation.
Yeah.
How did I get here? Because
and
life,
lesson do I need
like
to
you
learn?
said, it's a classroom.
There's
just levels upon levels upon levels. And then to understand and give other people grace because they may not be on the level that you're on.
Right.
And that's okay.
Oh, that's a whole other topic.
You know what that is? That's a topic we have to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you do have to learn to give them grace and then give yourself grace because someone's in a higher classroom than you. You haven't got to their level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then they'll have to deal with how you're acting and they're looking at you like, okay, you haven't arrived here.
Yeah.
You know, but we're all on these different levels.
Yeah.
And we have to learn how to deal with each other on those levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And step out of our comfort zone and grow.
Zone. The comfort zone. The dead zone.
The dead zone.
The dead zone.
All right. So thank you so much for being with us on our first little podcast.
I hope you enjoyed Mindful Moments. I know I've enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it. I love every time we get together and talk. We just talk and talk and talk, and we talk about great things, I think.
Yes, yes.
So remember to give yourself permission. Let go of those resolutions. Spend time resting the next couple of weeks and just being with yourself. Look at your screen time. Pick one or two small things to work on. Increasing your water, going for a walk, reading a book.
Definitely reading a book.
Listening to a book. Allow yourself that time to just kind of get away. Coming up in February, I'm offering a workshop on February 9th from self-care to self-confidence. How to take those self-care techniques and turn them into confidence.
Oh, that's powerful.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good.
You can find tickets on Eventbrite. It's going to be February 9th from 1 to 5. There are only 12 places available. I'm only taking 12 people.
You got to do this, guys.
Now, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And then February 17th is our Monday morning sound bath at 10 a.m. here in Peachtree City. And I think I'm going to start trying to put that on Eventbrite too.
Okay.
I can keep up with that.
You can keep up with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They make it a little easier.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there's 15 spots for that one. So if you have not done a sound bath, it is wonderful.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
And then Mayah has her book called Confronting Reflections. Where can they get this? On your website?
They can get on my website. It's also on Amazon. I have an ebook and you can get the soft copy version as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's called Confronting Reflections.
Yes.
And she will list it at the bottom, a link to her website, my website, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Rooted Vines also will be at Bennett Elementary School February 1st. So you can come out and support us there. We have the holistic teas and tea accessories, giving you a chance to really carve out time to reintroduce yourself to yourself in those mindful moments.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Make sure you have some mindful moments this week.
That's right. That's your homework.
That's your homework.